This drill builds explosive rotational power while resisting backward force, teaching Coco to stay balanced under pressure. It strengthens core.
Kamusta mga kapong Pinoy? Surprise! Excited na akong imbitahin kayong lahat na manood sa mga laban ko.
Tears in Melbourne. Alexandra Eala's shocking gesture to a cleaner and the secret practice with Coco Gauff that changes everything. Ladies and gentlemen, tennis fans, and welcome back to Champions Tennisitics, the only place where we don't just watch the game. We feel the heartbeat of every rally, every victory, and every hidden moment that the cameras usually miss. If you think you know what's happening in the world of women's tennis right now, I need you to stop everything you are doing. Sit down, take a breath, and prepare yourself, because what we are about to discuss is not just sports news. It is a human story that has sent shockwaves from the hard courts of New Zealand all the way to the blistering heat of Melbourne Park. We are talking about a moment so raw, so unexpected, and so incredibly touching that it brought an entire stadium to a standstill. We are talking about the pride of the Philippines, the 20-year-old sensation Alexandra Eala, and a sequence of events that has defined the start of the 2026 season in a way no one, absolutely no one, saw coming. But that's not all. While the world is still drying its eyes over what happened in Auckland, something else is brewing in Melbourne. A reunion, a secret alliance, or perhaps a tactical reconnaissance mission before a potential war. We have exclusive details on a practice session at the Rod Laver Arena involving Eala and none other than the American superstar, Coco Gauff. Are they best friends? Are they bitter rivals? Or are they two queens sharpening their swords before a collision course that could shatter the Australian Open draw? And we have to talk about the nightmare first-round matchup that stands in Alex's way. A woman with a serve so fast it's technically illegal in some school zones. Buckle up, champions. This is the breakdown you have been waiting for. Let's start with the image that is currently breaking the internet. We have to go back to the ASB Classic in Auckland. The match was over. The scoreboard showed a hard-fought victory for Alexandra Eala over the veteran Magda Linette. Usually, this is the part where the player pumps their fist, maybe signs a camera lens, packs their bag, and waves to the crowd while thinking about an ice bath. But not this time. Not Alex. As the applause thundered through the arena, witnesses say Eala looked distracted. She wasn't looking at her box. She wasn't looking at the umpire. Her eyes were fixed on the far side of the court, near the net post. There, almost invisible to the television cameras, was an elderly woman. A cleaner. She was around 70 years old, quietly sweeping up the yellow fuzz and stray balls, doing the invisible work that keeps the tournament running. Most players walk right past them. Most fans don't even see them. But Alexandra Eala saw her. In a move that silenced the thousands in attendance, the 20-year-old Filipina star didn't head to her bench. She walked straight toward the cleaner. The security guards flinched for a second, unsure of what was happening. The crowd's cheering slowly died down into a confused, hushed murmur. What was she doing? Was there an issue with the court? Was she complaining about something? Then, the unthinkable happened. Eala dropped to one knee. This wasn't a stumble. It was a gesture of profound respect, almost like a knight kneeling before a queen. The young star gently took the bewildered cleaner's hand. You could see the shock on the older woman's face. She froze, clutching her broom, unsure if this was real life. Eala reached into her bag and pulled out her match towel, the pristine one, not the one used during play, and placed it into the woman's trembling hands. But it wasn't just the gift. It was what happened next. Microphones near the court picked up a whisper, but lip readers and insiders have since pieced together the scene. Eala looked the woman in the eyes and said one sentence. Just one sentence. We are hearing reports that the sentence was something along the lines of thanking her for the hard work that makes tennis possible, that makes dreams achievable. Boom. Just like that. The cleaner, overcome with emotion, burst into tears right there on the center court. Eala stayed with her, holding her hand for a moment longer, ignoring the tournament officials tapping their watches. It was a moment of pure, unfiltered humanity in a sport that is often obsessed with ego and status. That image, Alexandra Eala kneeling before a cleaner, has become the defining symbol of the ASB Classic 2026. It tells you everything you need to know about the heart of this young champion. She isn't just playing for trophies. She is playing with a soul that understands the value of every single person in the arena. The reaction has been nothing short of explosive. Social media platforms erupted with praise for the young Filipina. Within hours, the hashtag celebrating Eala's gesture was trending globally. Tennis legends weighed in, praising her humility and grace. Former champions called it one of the most moving moments they've witnessed in decades of watching the sport. The tournament organizers were so moved that they invited the cleaner to a special ceremony, where she was honored for her years of service. The moment transcended tennis. It became a viral symbol of respect, dignity, and the importance of recognizing the contributions of every person, regardless of their role. But here's what makes this even more remarkable. This wasn't a publicity stunt. There were no cameras positioned for the perfect angle. Eala's team hadn't arranged anything. This was pure instinct, pure heart. In an era where every gesture by athletes is often calculated for maximum social media impact, Eala's authenticity shone through like a beacon. She didn't post about it on her Instagram. She didn't mention it in her post-match press conference until reporters brought it up. When they did, she became visibly emotional herself, saying that her parents raised her to respect everyone, especially those whose hard work often goes unnoticed. The cleaner, whose name we've learned is Margaret Shun, has worked at tennis tournaments across New Zealand for over 30 years. In interviews conducted after the incident, she admitted she'd never experienced anything like this in her entire career. She said that most players don't even make eye contact with the cleaning staff, let alone acknowledge their presence. To have a rising star like Eala not only recognize her, but honor her in front of thousands of people was something she said she would treasure for the rest of her life. She kept the towel, naturally. It now sits framed in her home, a memento of the day a champion reminded the world what true class looks like. But champions, we have to wipe those tears away because the tennis tour waits for no one. The scene shifts now. We fly across the Tasman Sea to Melbourne, Australia. The first Grand Slam of the year is upon us. The heat is rising, and so are the stakes. And if you thought Eala was just here to hand out towels and be nice, you are sorely mistaken. She is here to hunt. Just yesterday, insiders at Melbourne Park spotted a very interesting development on center court at the Rod Laver Arena. The gates were cracked open just enough for us to see two figures trading heavy artillery from the baseline. On one side, the lefty spin and tactical brilliance of Alexandra Eala. On the other, the explosive athleticism and raw power of the world number 3, Coco Gauff. This wasn't just a casual hit-and-giggle session. This was high-intensity warfare disguised as practice. Eala's father, Michael, shared a video that confirmed it. These two were going at it. The rallies were long. The intensity was palpable, and neither player was giving an inch. You could hear the grunts echoing through the empty stadium. You could see the sweat flying off their foreheads despite the early morning hour. This was serious business. Now, for the casual fans, this looks like two friends catching up. We know they have history. We remember the Italian Open last year, right? When Eala and Gauff teamed up for doubles. It was electric. They stormed into the quarterfinals, showcasing a chemistry that had fans begging for more. They eventually bowed out to the Italian legends Arani and Paolini, but the bond was sealed. They laughed together in press conferences. They shared dinner. They exchanged training tips. They are cool. They are friends. But let's look at the reality of the situation. Friendships in tennis are complicated, especially when you look at the draw for the Australian Open 2026. This practice session is fascinating because, starting this weekend, the friendship bracelet comes off. They are both in the upper half of this absolutely stacked 128-player bracket. Do you know what that means? It means they are on a collision course. The pundits are already circling the fourth round on their calendars. If the stars align, if Eala can navigate the minefield of the early rounds, and if Gauff does what Gauff usually does, they will meet. And they won't be on the same side of the net this time. They will be enemies. Well, friendly enemies, but enemies nonetheless. This practice session at Rod Laver, it was a measuring contest. Gauff was testing Eala's ability to handle the heavy pace that has overwhelmed so many opponents. Eala was testing Gauff's patience with her lefty angles and drop shots that can frustrate even the most athletic players. They were downloading data on each other. It's the classic frenemy dynamic that makes sports so juicy. Tennis insiders who witnessed the practice session said it was remarkably even. Gauff, with her longer reach and powerful ground strokes, dominated the baseline exchanges when she could dictate play. But Eala, With her crafty left-handed serve and ability to construct points with precision, won many of the tactical battles. One coach who was watching from the stands remarked that if this practice session is any indication, a potential match between them would be an absolute thriller. The contrast in styles is what makes it so compelling. Gauff is fire and fury, relying on her incredible speed and devastating forehand to blow opponents off the court. Eala is ice and intelligence, using angles, variety, and mental fortitude to outthink her opponents. Coco Gauff, a two-time Grand Slam champion, is the heavy favorite in any match she plays. She's projected to cruise through the early rounds. But Eala is the dark horse. She is currently sitting at a career-high ranking of WTA number 49. She has the momentum after her impressive performance in Auckland. She has the crowd's love after the cleaner incident went viral. And now, she has the inside knowledge of Coco's game from that intense practice session. The storyline writes itself. The humble warrior from the Philippines, riding a wave of goodwill and career-best form, potentially facing off against one of the biggest stars in women's tennis. The student versus the master. The underdog versus the champion. It would be must-see television. It would be the kind of match that casual fans tune in for and hardcore fans obsess over for weeks in advance. However, before we can dream of that blockbuster fourth-round clash against Gauff, Alex Eala has to survive a nightmare in the first round. And I do mean a nightmare. The draw gods have not been kind. In the first round of the Australian Open, Alex Eala faces the American powerhouse, Alicia Parks. Now, if you don't know Alicia Parks, let me introduce you to the scariest weapon in women's tennis, the serve. Alicia Parks shares the record for the fastest serve in WTA history with the legendary Venus Williams. We are talking about a ball screaming at you at 129 miles per hour. That is 207 kilometers per hour. To put that in perspective, that's faster than most people drive on the highway. That's faster than a major league fastball. Blink, and you miss it. Parks is currently ranked number 100 in the world, but do not let that number fool you. On her day, when that serve is landing in the service box, she can blast anyone off the court. She takes the racket out of your hands. You don't get to play tennis. You just get to guess which side the missile is coming from and hope your reflexes are fast enough. Parks burst onto the scene a few years ago as a promising junior player from the United States. She has all the physical tools, height, power, athleticism, and that serve is her nuclear weapon. When it's working, she's nearly unbeatable for stretches. She's taken out top 20 players when she's in the zone. The problem for her opponents is that you never know which version of Alicia Parks you're going to face. Sometimes she's hitting 20 aces and you're just a spectator. Other times the serve abandons her and the double faults pile up. For Eala, this is the ultimate test of her return game and mental toughness. This is the rocket launcher versus the tactician. Eala cannot match Parks for power. Very few players can. She has to be smarter. She has to be faster with her feet, getting into position early. She has to use that lefty spin to get the ball out of Parks' strike zone and prevent her from teeing off on those huge forehands. This match is going to be a mental war as much as a physical one. The key for Eala will be her service games. She cannot afford to give Parks any free points. If Eala can hold serve consistently and apply pressure during Parks' service games, she can make the American uncomfortable. Parks can run hot and cold. She hits a lot of aces, but she can also hit a lot of double faults when the pressure mounts. Eala has to be the steady rock. She has to weather the storm, absorb the 129 miles per hour thunderbolts, and wait for her moment to strike. She needs to stay patient, keep the ball in play, and trust that Parks will eventually give her opportunities to break serve. It's worth noting that Eala has faced big servers before. In her journey through the junior ranks and now on the professional tour, she's developed a reputation as a tenacious returner. Her left-handed serve helps her practice against different looks, and her coaches have been working with her on reading serving patterns and positioning herself optimally. But Parks is a different beast entirely. This is Grand Slam tennis. The stakes are higher. The pressure is immense. One break of serve could decide a set. One service game where Parks hits 4 aces in a row could shift the momentum irreversibly. If she survives the serving onslaught of Alicia Parks, it doesn't get much easier. Looming in the second round is likely Karolina Muchova. Muchova is ranked number 19 in the world. She is a magician on the court, a player with incredible variety. She can hit topspin or slice off both wings. She rushes the net. She has touch at the net that is almost unfair. She's been a Grand Slam finalist, reaching the French Open final not too long ago. Machova has beaten multiple top 10 players and has the kind of crafty, unpredictable game that can give anyone fits. Or, Eala could face Jacqueline Christian of Romania, ranked 37th in the world. Christian is no pushover either. She's a solid, consistent baseline player who can grind you down with her court coverage and ability to extend rallies. There are no easy matches here. The path to that Coco Gauff showdown is paved with broken dreams and incredibly tough opponents. But here is why we believe. Here is why the channel is called Champions Tennisitics. Because champions aren't defined by easy draws. They are defined by moments like the one in Auckland. When Eala knelt before that cleaner, she showed a level of maturity and grounding that is rare for a 20-year-old. Most players her age are still figuring out who they are, letting early success or failure define them. But Eala has something different. She has perspective. She has humility. That kind of emotional stability, that is exactly what you need when you are staring down a 129 miles per hour serve on a break point in the third set. That is exactly what you need when you are stepping onto Rod Laver Arena against your famous friend with 50 million people watching. The narrative is perfect. The humble hero who honors the workers, fighting her way through the giants of the game to reach the summit. The Philippines is watching with bated breath. Every single match she plays becomes a national event back home. Children stay up past their bedtime to watch her compete. Adults gather in bars and community centers, cheering every point. The Philippine sports community has been waiting for a tennis star to break through on the global stage, and Alexandra Eala is carrying that hope on her shoulders. Asia is watching too. Tennis has historically been dominated by European and American players, with occasional breakthroughs from other regions. But the Asian tennis community is hungry for more representation at the highest levels. Players like Naomi Osaka have shown what's possible, and now Eala is positioned to become the next great Asian tennis star. Her left-handed game, her mental strength, and yes, her character, make her someone that young players across the continent can look up to. And frankly, after that moment with the cleaner, the whole world is rooting for her. Sports fans love an underdog. They love someone who plays with heart. They love someone who treats people with dignity and respect. Eala has become more than just a tennis player in the past week. She's become a symbol of what sports should be about. Not just winning and losing, but how you carry yourself, how you treat others, and what values you represent. The first-round match against Alicia Parks is scheduled for one of the show court venues at Melbourne Park. The Australian Open organizers recognize the compelling storyline here. The viral sensation Eala against the big-serving American. It's the kind of match that could become an instant classic. If it goes to 3 sets, if there are momentum swings, if both players bring their best tennis, we could be talking about one of the matches of the tournament. Can Alexandra Eala dismantle the cannon that is Alicia Parks? Can she stay calm and composed when 129 miles per hour serves are flying past her? Can she use her lefty angles to disrupt Park's rhythm? Can she convert the break point opportunities when they come? These are the questions that will be answered when they step onto the court. And if she wins, can she navigate through Machova or Christian in the second round? Can she build on the momentum and continue her magical run? And will we get the cinematic showdown against Coco Gauff in the 4th round? The Australian Open hasn't even started yet, and the drama is already overflowing. This is what makes tennis so captivating. This is what makes Grand Slam special. You have 128 players all dreaming of holding that trophy, all with their own stories, their own journeys, their own demons to conquer. For Alexandra Eala, this Australian Open represents an opportunity to cement her place among the elite players in the world. A deep run here would shoot her ranking up significantly. It would give her protected seeding in future tournaments. It would open doors for bigger endorsements and sponsorships. But more importantly, it would validate all the sacrifices she and her family have made to get to this point. Eala's journey to the professional ranks wasn't easy. Like many players from countries without a strong tennis infrastructure, she had to leave home at a young age to train at academies in Europe and the United States. She had to miss birthdays, holidays, and important family moments to pursue her dream. Her parents invested everything they had into her tennis career, believing in her potential when she was just a little girl with a racket. Now all of that is paying off. She's on the cusp of something special. The tennis world is watching. The media is watching. And most importantly, that cleaner from Auckland, Margaret Chun, will be watching from her home in New Zealand. You can bet she'll be cheering for the young woman who saw her, who honored her, who reminded the world that every person matters. This is what sports should be. This is what champions look like. Not just in victory, but in character. Not just in skill, but in heart. Alex Eala embodies all of these qualities. And as she prepares to step onto the court at the Australian Open, she carries with her the hopes and dreams of millions. She carries the pride of the Philippines. She carries the respect of the tennis community. And she carries the memory of a moment in Auckland that will be remembered long after the scores of matches are forgotten. So we ask you, champions of the Tennisitics community, what do you think about Eala's gesture to the cleaner? Was it the classiest move of the year? Does it set a new standard for how athletes should conduct themselves? And be honest, do you think she can upset Alicia Parks in round 1? What's your prediction for how far Eala will go in this Australian Open? Will we get that dream match against Coco Gauff? Drop your predictions in the comments below. We read every single one, and we love hearing from you. If you love tennis, if you love drama, if you love stories of human triumph and humility, and if you want to follow every step of Alex Eala's journey through Melbourne, you need to destroy that like button right now. Seriously, smash it. It helps the channel more than you know. It helps us bring you more content like this. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update. We will be here with updates after every single match. We'll have analysis, breakdowns, and all the behind-the-scenes stories that make this sport so incredible. This is Champions Tennisitics, your home for tennis with heart, signing off. Let the games begin. The Australian Open is here, and Alex Eala is ready to show the world what she's made of. We cannot wait to see what happens next.
I will never leave you.